Now, is there any ways that you've found to keep track of what type of materials, whether it be the appliances or the flooring or the paint colors, so that in the future, when you need to make repairs or do a turnover, that it's kind of a more efficient process? Have you found any things that are useful for that?
So that's an area of improvement. Like I said, when you're running a million miles an hour to try to hit your goals and buy properties, there's some processes that you give up, and knowing what paint color you use at a certain property, what kind of appliances you put in there, whether you bought new for that unit or you used A1 used appliances, you kind of lose track of that. So that's where I say find a property software, management software that you can keep track of that stuff in, and be diligent up front, because if you try to do it later on, it gets harder and harder, like anything. So if you're diligent about the way you keep track of what's in your units and who's there, and right away out of the gates, then you're going to continue to do it and make good habits doing it.
Yeah.
But I would say there's a lot of property software that allow you to keep track of that stuff, and I would use them.
Yeah, for sure. I just know for myself, when I'm doing turnovers at my units, it's always like, well, what paint did I use here? What sheen was it? And I'm looking back at some of the paint cans that are half full down in the basement, like, why did I pick that paint?
Yeah. I would say don't get too cute. Find a color that you think majority of renters are going to like, and reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. Drew and I argue about it all the time. He hates gray. I love gray. I think most people love gray. And so we use a paint, and you can steal this too. It's called Sculpture Clay by Behr. It's a Home Depot product, and we love the color, and we've had a lot of success with it. So yeah, pick something that works and reuse it. If you're doing remodels and you like a certain countertop from IKEA, you know how they cut, you know how to install them, pick a certain product and keep reusing it.
Yeah. And as you guys have done either turnovers or major renovations, what things have you selected to just, keeping in mind, is this going to be attractive to a tenant?
Great question. I think a lot of people get hung up with over renovating. And I think as you're looking at a property from a homeowner, it's different than what a renter might look at a property. And there's details about the property and the unit that a renter's going to care about, and there's other details that they just don't care about. So spending the money on them is not going to get you a return on your money. And there's tips and tricks. The more you do rentals, the more you learn what those are. And I think to renovate and to update a space to attract to a renter, making sure it's clean. And a lot of times people are like, okay, I got to rush the old renter out and the new renter in, and they fail to really deep clean the property. And smells are a big one too. And so every time I do a turnover, if I feel like there might be a need for a paint job, do a paint job, because it cuts down on the smells immensely and it cleans up the place fantastic. So paint, flooring, they don't much care about what kind of flooring as long as it's laid nicely. If the kitchen has separation in some of the floorboards and you think you need to put new LVL in, do it. It's a really easy fix and upgrade. So flooring, paint, and then cabinets get a lot of wear and tear and use over time. So making sure those cleans are clean and updated. And if you have to paint cabinets, because it's what renters care about as well.
Yeah. That keeping them clean is really important, and that's a low-cost way to attract good tenants.
Super. It's small things that you can do to make a unit look homey and ready to go, and keeping it deep cleaned. And and don't bank on the renter's past security deposit to do that cleaning. Do that cleaning either way. Yep. And I think oftentimes we get hung up as somebody needs to pay for this if I'm going to do it for the unit. And that's not true. It's your responsibility as a landlord to present a great unit, whether you're going to be able to pull from somebody's security deposit to do it or not. It's still your responsibility to create that space.
Yeah, that's huge. Just preparing it for that next tenant so that they can have a good experience, regardless of what happened at the last one.
Regardless. Is don't use your past experience with the old renter as what you think the new renter is going to give you.
Yep. Want to hear more on this topic? Click the link below for the full episode of Maximizing Your Property Value.